Well, hello and welcome to our class. First off, if you are not actually in microbiology, that's okay. This is a general video and I'm using this microbiology course to show you around Canvas because I do structure all of my Canvas courses similarly so that they flow all in the same way and students know what to expect. So keep watching this even if you're not in microbiology. I will be producing a second video that will be specifically related to whatever specific course you are in. All right, so this video, as I was just mentioning, I don't want to lose some of you, is to go over Canvas. I want to go over the general navigation and welcome you to the course, and then kind of show you around. And then hopefully this will help you to be more familiar with Canvas right off the bat so you can jump right into the material that's required for week one. So in the upper left-hand corner, you can see that this is where you would have your picture and your username. This is kind of a fake account, so I don't have anything up there. Hopefully you've made your way to this. If you have not been able to find this, then you wouldn't be here on the video. So hopefully you know how to get to this pretty easily and get into our course. This is our welcome page, our home page. It says hello and welcome to our class. I am Professor Hubbard and I'm going to be helping you through these next several weeks of course. At the beginning here it says you should begin by watching this introduction to Canvas videos, which is what you should have clicked on to watch this now. Then after you're done watching these videos, I do suggest that you go to the general course materials so that you can read through the syllabus, watch those videos as well, and then kind of click around just so that you can become familiar with Canvas if you're not already familiar with Canvas, but then also to become more familiar with our specific site here. So you can also see on the home page here that at the top I have recent announcements. This will always have the most recent announcement. Right now there's a dot next to it, which means that I have not read it. If I click on the subject here, then I can open it up, and this is kind of a placeholder just saying hello and welcome again, giving you an idea of what an announcement looks like. I do use announcements very regularly. I will use them to post reminders on when a due date is coming up for the first couple of weeks so everybody kind of gets the hang of it. Reminders about exams, and then also anything that might be changed or switched throughout the semester. So you're going to want to keep an eye on the announcements. That said, part of the requirements of the first week of the course are to set it up to where you get notifications every time I post an announcement. So you will need to do that as well if you haven't done that already. There's a walkthrough in the first module in our class so that you can do that. So here's an announcement, and I can click back by going to the home page here, or I can click back to the announcements here or over here. And you can see now that there's not a dot there, which means that it's been read. If I click back to home, you can see there's not a dot, but it still stays up there. The most recent one will always stay up at the top. Also on the home page, you can see on the right-hand side, this is a list of to-dos, which may or may not be helpful for you. It goes in order of due dates. Again, if you're not in microbiology, these assignments are not correct for you. Or if you're not in the 20 fall semester, if this is a future semester, I still have everything structured the same. It's just that you'll have different assignments and different due dates and things like that. So we have this over here, so you can click on here in order to access the most recent assignment that is due. You can also click off here so that if you have submitted it or if you're not going to or anything like that, you can still get it off of your to-do list. On the left-hand side, I'm going to go through the navigation here for the course. So we've already gone to announcements, and you've seen the announcements here, and then those will continue to fill up this page as there are more and more announcements. The next tab is the discussions tab. The general questions discussion tab here was already mentioned, or thread was already mentioned in that home page, saying that you could ask questions about the course here. This is because I treat the general questions discussion thread similar to if we were in class and you were raising your hand. So if you were raising your hand, you might ask a question about anything, whether it's the material or the course itself or the grading or anything like that. And then I could answer you, but then also other students could chime in and could answer you as well. So the general questions discussion thread, if I click on that, it says feel free to post any questions you may have about the course throughout the semester to receive feedback from myself and other students. So I do encourage all of you, when you are notified, because this is another thing you need to sign up for notifications for, that when you're notified that you do chime in and you do answer your peers' questions. because this is another way to kind of have some group work, for example. So if a student came in and was sitting down in class, you guys were waiting for class to start, you as a student or a student nearby you might say like, hey, I had troubles accessing this, that, or the other. Did you have troubles with it? This is a good spot for that to be. Or, hey, you know, I'm really struggling to understand this concept. Did you find anything that was helpful in this regard? That should actually be in the helpful thread. But anyway, these would be questions about the actual class. Like, hey, I thought this assignment was due on Sunday. I don't see it. Do you guys see it? Kind of thing. And then I can also chime in as well. So part of the notifications for this is to click this subscribe button. And again, you'll be walked through this in another portion of the class. But just ahead of time, you want to click that subscribe button here. Now, if I go back to discussions, you can see not only are there not any new notifications, which was just me having read it for the first time, but also you can see this little banner over here means that I'm subscribed, which means that I'll get notifications via email, because I've set it up via email, whenever somebody posts there. The second one is the helpful resources discussion thread. So you can feel free to post any resources you find helpful for this course here. I do highly recommend that you share any good websites or videos or books or anything else that relate to the course material. I think that oftentimes when one student is struggling, that may mean that many students are struggling. So any pictures that you find, any links to websites or videos or anything that can be helpful or that you have accessed to help your information become more solidified, I would love for you to post them here so that we can share them with everybody. This is another one where you don't need to subscribe it, but if you click subscribe, you'll get notifications for when anybody does post something helpful. Lastly, we have the My Mistakes discussion board. This says the forum is extra credit and will be open all semester. The purpose of this forum is to report errors you find in the course materials. As soon as you find something that seems to be an error, please post it here along with a screenshot if possible. As soon as I am able, I will look into it and make adjustments if needed. I will also post those adjustments here for others to reference. I recommend adding notifications for this discussion and/or checking here to see if there have been any changes to course materials prior to heading into each subunit or especially exam. Any errors reported here will receive extra credit at the end of the term. So as is just described, or as was just described, if you are reading an assignment or clicking around somewhere and you see a misspelling, or if you see double words or some sort of mistake, or even something, a link is broken, for example, because oftentimes websites that I use for different activities will reorganize their website and a link will be broken and we need to seek out a new link. Anything like that, you should put here, because then I have notification of it. I can go in and I can try to figure it out, fix it, and let everybody know. It's also some incentive is that you can get extra credit for posting it here. And if you do find a workaround for it, so let's say you use the link that I posted, it happens to be a broken link now, and you find the replacement for it, that would be really helpful for you to be able to post that as well. So I do suggest that you subscribe to this one as well, so that you can get those notifications as soon as possible. So those are the 3 discussion boards or discussion threads. Note that you do not have to post anything on a discussion board throughout the semester. That's not a requirement of the course. But I do suggest that you use these discussion boards at least, and we can open up new discussion boards as well if something seems like it would be beneficial or helpful. So for example, if you're working on a particular assignment and you want to start a whole discussion about how the assignment relates to something happening in the world today or something else, some sort of conversation, you can start a discussion related to that and ask your peers to get in on the conversation. So then next over here we have modules. Now this is the one area that you're going to be spending most of your time throughout the semester. Now this is going to be different for each of the classes. So if you are not in this microbiology class, this will look different. So this is actually the piece that I'm going to go through in the second video. So just note at this point that the module section is where you're going to get all of your information as far as assignments and where you're going to submit them and due dates and things like that. One thing I do want to note that is, of course, this looks specific to this course, but a lot of these things are very similar. So this first week, the general course materials, is where you're going to find a link to your syllabus, to these videos that I'm making, and things like the lockdown browser, notifications that I was talking about, other instructions and tutorials. This is the very first module that will be open for you, and each of the courses have that information, so you can access that. All right, the next one is the grades tab here. So you can see here that this is a list of available assignments so far for this class for this semester. Again, this will be different if you're not in this course. But here you can see that here's the assignment. You can click on it to be taken to the assignment so that you can read the assignment and submit it. It also tells you the due date, which is how this is organized. I can arrange it differently, but it's organized by due date by default. You can also see the points for the assignment. And then when you have submitted your assignment, I will grade it, of course, and then once it's graded, you will see that score here. As you scroll down to the bottom, you can see that there's a total at the bottom that will keep a running tally of the points that you've earned and out of the total points for the class. That way you can know throughout the entire semester exactly where you stand as far as your grade is concerned, and there's more information as far as percentages in the syllabus. But this is a good way to keep track of that, and I do recommend that you visit this grades tab often to make sure that you are keeping an eye on your grade throughout the semester. I don't offer extra credit other than that one discussion board, which is very little. So I do recommend that you do your best and keep track of your grades throughout the semester to make sure that you are turning in everything and getting everything done well. Now I do want to note that these dash marks here, in this case I haven't actually submitted an assignment, but if I had, this dash would still be here for the score. And all that means is that I have not graded it yet. So if you see a dash, please don't be alarmed. Don't think it's because you haven't submitted the assignment. That dash just means that I haven't graded it and given you a score yet. Please also keep in mind that I strive to grade things at least every other week. So depending on when you submit it, I won't start grading an assignment until after the due date to begin with, and then every other week after that. So it may be a week or so or more, depending on if you submit it very, very early in the week before you'll get the score. So please keep that in mind. Once I have graded an assignment, you'll see a score there or a 0 if you didn't turn it in. So it won't stay a dash. Everything should be filled in. Another neat feature of the grades is, as you can see when I click over this, it says click to test a different score. What that means is that you can actually click on that and you can put in a grade and you can see how that changes your total score at the bottom here. I know that students often use this toward the end of the semester when they're kind of trying to gauge the last exam and how many points they need to get the grade that they would like. So I think that that is a fantastic tool. You can go in here and you can just kind of play around with it. Say if a 70% will get you the grade you want, or if it has to be an 80% or whatever it is to kind of get you to where you want to be. So you can kind of play around with that. The next tab over here is the People tab. I'm not going to click on that because it's going to show all of the people in this specific course. But on that tab, you can see a list of the names of all of the active students in the class, and then you can see the information on them. So that's just so that you know who you're interacting with. You can send emails to people in the class, but that's actually may be helpful to be able to see what student or what their name is so that you can then email them. The next tab here is the Office 365. You do have access to Office 365 through SC4. So if you don't have a program on your computer for like a Word document or an Excel or PowerPoint, you can use the SC4 provided Microsoft Office tools. So you can access that information by clicking on this Office 365, and then it's going to prompt you to log in. When you log in with your username and password, then it will access all of your documents from Office 365, so you can use them and manipulate them and download them and things. The next one is NetTutor, and here in my fake account this doesn't work, but when you click on NetTutor, it brings up another website. And you can scroll through the different topics. So you could scroll through and click on biology or anatomy and physiology or any of the other topics for any of your other courses. and get free tutoring help. This is a new function that SC4 has brought on, and so I don't know at this point how well it works for anybody because it is new. So if you do use it, it's free tutoring through SC4. It's not actually SC4 people, it's a company that SC4 is working with to provide free tutoring. We do still have tutoring at our own Achievement Center, and you can contact them, and you can do that through Teams with specific tutors for our specific college. But this is kind of the way I understand it, is that there is a list of times that you can just drop in and ask a tutor something really quick rather than having to set up actual times. So if you do use that, maybe if you can set up a discussion board and note, some things, if it worked well, if it didn't work well, how you like it. And then maybe that can be helpful for other students, or at the very least, it would be helpful for me to be able to know whether that's something I should recommend to other students in the future. All right, so we're gonna just click back on the home for now. I just want to wrap up this video, or this piece of the video here, by noting that in the syllabus, and in the syllabus video, I mentioned that I prefer that you email me through Canvas. And what I mean by that is that rather than opening up a personal email account, which you shouldn't do anyway, or the SC4 email, and then directly put my email in there, what I recommend that you do is use the inbox here that's in Canvas. And there's a couple reasons for that. One is because Canvas organizes things very well. And so then if we are trying to find our conversation at a later time, we can just click on it very easily and it shows all of the interactions. Secondly, you don't have to remember my email address in order to access me or email me. When you click on inbox, which I won't do because it's going to bring up my inbox, but when you bring up inbox, it's similar to any other email program. At the top center here, there's a compose button. So you can click that to start a new email. And then there are drop downs for who you're going to send it to. So in your drop down, it'll automatically fill in with the courses that you're enrolled in. So you can choose the course that you're enrolled in with me, and then you can choose my name from the list, or teacher from the list. So you can do that. You don't even have to know my email address or figure it out or look it up. And then you just type in the subject and type in the body of the email just like you normally would, and click send. And you can also send attachments that way if necessary. So if you take a screenshot or something and you want to send it to me because you have a question, that will work as well. So I do recommend that you use the inbox and that you check that regularly and make sure that you can also connect that inbox to your own personal email, so that when you get an email to your Canvas inbox, it will go to, not your personal, but like your SC4 email. Is where it will go through it. And you could actually send it to your personal email, but please don't email back from a personal email. It needs to stay within the SC4 email or the Canvas SC4 email. All right, so that covers kind of the general overview of the class and how to navigate Canvas as a whole. In the second part of the Introduction to Canvas videos is when I'm going over your specific class and how to access and work through your specific assignments and things in modules.